Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today I'm just so grateful to return to Robert B. Stone. Robert B. Stone wrote a book with Jose Silva called The Silva Mind Control Method for Business Managers. It has a number of wonderful chapters on how to deal with common manager problems and triggering creative ideas and how to replace manager doldrums. There's one chapter that actually does a very good job of summarizing the Silva method, and we can use it beyond just being a manager, but it comes from a perspective for the business manager. But if you don't know about the Silva method, this is a good place to start. I highly recommend getting the entire book. It's got a bunch of cool techniques. The Silva method for getting more of your mind to work for you. I wish I could explain easily how you can relax and slow your brainwaves to go to the subjective dimension. I wish I could put it in a nutshell all the ways you can use the subjective dimension to benefit yourself and your work. I wish I could explain concisely how the subjective dimension is not limited by time and space, and how you can function creatively in that dimension in ways that defy objective dimension laws. I believe that many decades of research and experience in this field will enable me to do this for you. I believe that the assistance of my writing associate, Dr. Robert B. Stone, who has had scores of self-help books published, will enable me to get this done. I believe that the skills of the publisher's staff will assure success in this goal. I expect that success. I expect a useful guide for managers. I expect it to be used widely by business managers and executives. These have been desires, beliefs, and expectations. I have gone to the subjective dimensions repeatedly to visualize the project. The normal process of creation has taken place. The book is in your hands. I'm continuing the process. I visualize you putting the book down, relaxing to go to the subjective dimension in order to experience and learn the Silva method, and using it to make this a better world to live in. We learn about the objective physical world in school, objectively, but we do not learn about the subjective dimension at school. The only way we can learn about it is subjectively. In school or college, we cannot close our eyes, turn off the physical realm, and go to the imagination or subjective dimension. When we tried that in elementary school, we got our knuckles rapped in high school. We had to do an extra assignment in college. We got labeled. You can now go to the imaginative, subjective dimension without fear of reprisal. Instead, go to that level with expectation of reward. 10 brain cycles per second. The Silva method of mental training helps a person to function with full awareness at a state of mind usually associated with hallucinating or being half asleep. It is a state we pass through when falling asleep at night and awakening in the morning. About 90% of all people function at 20 cycles per second of brain pulsations when awake. They do their thinking and problem solving at 20 cycles, so they do their physical working and their mental working at the same brain frequency. The other 10% do their thinking at 10 cycles per second, so they think at 10 cycles and work at 20 cycles. You cannot beat working at 20 cycles. It is the optimum level for physical work. But you can beat thinking at 20 cycles. The optimum level for thinking is about 10 cycles. At about 10 cycles, the right hemisphere more fully joins in the thinking process. Intuition is activated. Clairvoyance is turned on. These cycles are energy pulsations that are measurable with brain electroencephalograph equipment. The dominant frequency is called beta, alpha, theta, or delta, going from rapid when under stress to slower when relaxed, to slower still when asleep. We call 10 cycles alpha. Actually, it is defined more broadly. Beta, 14 to 21 or over, alpha, 7 to 14, theta, 4 to 7, delta, a half to 4. The middle of alpha is 10.5. If you divide the usual maximum brainwave pulsation rate, 21, by 2, you also get 10.5. For our purpose, we will simplify the matter by using the word alpha and 10 cycles interchangeably. We accept the 10-cycle brain frequency to be the center of human intelligence. It is the crossover point where both brain hemispheres, right and left, function according to the need of the moment. It is the optimum frequency at which to educate human intelligence in the use of all its sensing faculties. Only 10% of us think at this optimum frequency naturally. The rest of us need to be trained to do so. Inner voice, friend or foe. The XYZ Corporation is on its collective toes. Everybody is waiting for the go command from the executive officer of the company. The feasibility study is a beauty. The most recent market analysis looks right on the money. Even the projections at best illusionary figures seem solid. All the ingredients for sound decision-making are here and all point in the direction go. But that go command never comes. The executive officer has listened to another voice deep down inside within a mysterious chamber in his mind. Something has whispered, no. Let's hold off on this project. He tells his staff, we have to concentrate on ongoing projects first. Later it turns out that a better approach to the project has been developed. Intuition wins again. This executive is one of the 10%. He developed the ability to listen to his inner feelings, otherwise known as gut feelings, intuition or perception. Some prefer to call him lucky. J.P. Morgan was lucky, one of the greatest business tycoons of this country. He was known to visit fortune tellers to become more effective in hearing his intuitive voice. Another giant of American business, Cornelius Vanderbilt, consulted clairvoyance. A test was conducted at Rutgers University some years ago in which businessmen were pitted against computers. The men were asked to predict what number would come up next from the computer, which was programmed to produce random numbers. The businessmen who headed successful businesses did far better than the other less successful businessmen. When confronted with the results, the successful businessmen admitted they had often ignored expensive engineering, marketing, or consultants' reports and made decisions on instinct. Don't tell my stockholders. To business executives educated in scientifically oriented management techniques, hunch and gut feeling are dirty words, as bad as ESP, psychic, or clairvoyant. But we are emerging from the dark ages. Business is now showing its respect and even seeking ways to amplify that inner voice. Training that inner voice. The Silva method is tried and true. 4 million graduates of the training can attest to its successful use in business and in private life. The executive 30-hour Silva method course is for developing executives to be clairvoyants. It is taught in 3 full days, or the equivalent thereof, usually over a 3-day weekend, anywhere in the United States where a group requests it. The book is both a backup textbook for the course and a manual for the business managers and executives who wish to enhance their intuitive and clairvoyant capabilities independently. Reading is objective. It instructs you to train yourself to function subjectively. It does not train you the way attending a course trains you. But if a business executive or manager conscientiously follows the instructions in this book, a new dimension in thinking will be developed, a subjective dimension. And that means a new dimension for solving problems, making sound decisions, and performing effectively. The executive 30-hour course is concentrated. It can produce clairvoyant executives in 3 days only because of the presence of a skilled trainer able to lead you through these subjective experiences that activate right brain functioning. Using this book, the time element must of necessity be less concentrated. You are leading yourself through subjective experiences, following instructions you have just read. This requires one small step at a time, or more specifically 5 to 15 minutes a day. The total amount of self-training is about the same as that required for the intensive training in total elapsed training time. But now that time in these smaller increments is spread over a larger period, and the 3 days become about 50 days. Some executives may take longer. Some may be able to shorten the time. All will acquire new skills, which will begin to emerge long before those training days are completed, and which will make the time invested a minuscule expense for the professional and business benefits that result. For those business executives and managers who expect to take the 30-hour course or taking it, or have already taken it, this book provides an introduction, course, textbook, and reinforcement manual combined. Man was once intuitive. The complexities of the objective civilized world have suppressed that ability. The Silva method restores that ability. For most of us, it is a new way of thinking. Genius-like, incredible, superhuman. For all of us, it is more of the mind for business and personal success. Amplifying the inner voice. An editor of a national women's magazine states, "When I read a manuscript, only intuition can say this truth. Readers will like it." She calls this secret personal knowledge. Dr. Jonas Salk, developer of the polio vaccine, says, "Intuition is something we don't understand the biology of yet. But it is always with excitement that I wake up in the morning wondering what my intuition will toss up to me. The gifts from the sea, I work with it and rely upon it. It's my partner." Another scientist likened intuition to cosmic fishing. You feel a nibble, then you've got to hook the fish. Unfortunately, too many of us fishermen ignore the nibble. We get a hunch, light a cigarette, and forget it. Precisely how the mind puts things together is currently being charted. We are beginning to know more about how the brain retrieves fragments of knowledge from the subconscious memory banks of neurons and fuses them instantly with new information. But what continues to elude researchers is just how the brain utilizes information not stored in those neurons. Information at a distance, or information that has not taken place yet. We can only accept for now that the right brain functions in a timeless, spaceless realm, and then go about using it profitably. The first thing we need to do is go within, where the voice is located, in effect analyzing it. This process of going within is called meditation. Meditation can be passive, where you relax blissfully in the joy of inner self. This is what is generally understood by the term meditation. It can also be active, dynamic. This is where you relax blissfully as before, but then you use your imagination in some creative way. This is when the intuition is activated to provide answers and to solve problems. India is a poverty-ridden country engulfed in problems, yet India is the source spring of meditation. India's meditative techniques are passive. In 1981, my writing associate, Dr. Stone, went to Adyar, India at the invitation of the Theosophical Society, whose international headquarters is located there. He was asked to teach dynamic meditation. One would think it would be like carrying coals to Newcastle for a Westerner to teach meditation in India. However, using the mind in meditation to solve problems was a new concept in India. His lectures were increasingly attended. Now that visit has been followed up by other Silva method lectures. Classes in many parts of Asia are breaking attendance records. It is to be hoped that the problem-ridden countries of the world will activate intuition to help solve them. That is already underway with a Silva method explosion in Central and South America. The business manager is a problem-ridden microcosm. He needs to begin the amplification of the intuitive voice, first by learning passive meditation, and then by extending that state into dynamic meditation. Screening out stress. They say that an apple a day will keep the doctor away. Whether or not apples are in season, try meditation to keep the doctor away by refreshing your physical self. The simple act of getting comfortable in a chair, closing your eyes, and taking a deep breath is a boon to every cell of your body, the brain included. But when you deepen that relaxation, and the method is just as simple, every vital organ is able to rejuvenate itself. The physical health of the body is prima facie evidence of the well-being of the brain. The brain runs the body. The stress of the beta world, the world of your human relations at home or in business, is killing. Doctors used to think that half or all diseases were psychosomatic, that is, mind affecting body. The effect of emotions, attitudes, and feelings were making us sick. Today, the medical profession accepts a figure closer to 100%, and maybe by the time this page reaches your eyes, that figure will be reached. Cancer is one of the holdouts, but recent research shows that stress causes cancer to worsen and spread in laboratory animals. Vernon Riley, chairman of the microbiology department at Pacific Northwest Research Foundation, was quoted in the press as saying that there is a dramatically higher percentage of new cancer growth when mice are placed under laboratory stress, which casts doubt on past studies using mice because they increased cancer was attributed to substances being tested when it may have actually resulted from laboratory stress. Yes, people can get sick from stress. Certainly, stress depletes you. Prolonged stress has been found to reduce the white blood cell count. That means resistance goes down. This translates into you can get a headache from the deadline you are working against. You can get ulcers from the upcoming job cutback. You can get the flu because of that new supervisor unless you are able to screen out stress. Sitting comfortably in a chair, closing your eyes and taking a deep breath is the way to begin, but there is more. Diffusing stress with meditation. Meditation is the first step in the Silva method. When you meditate, you go to alpha. In alpha, you are stress-free. There's no way to bring fear, anxiety, or animosity with you to alpha. That is beta stuff. If those feelings are present, they will anchor you in beta. If they intrude at alpha, you will be ending your meditation. So alpha is a stress-free state. Is it any wonder that your body eats it up? How do you meditate? There are many ways to do it. Music, mantras, chants, gongs, incense, all are helpful aids to meditation, but not exactly appropriate for the business executive. The Silva method is appropriate for managers and executives because it does not introduce any devices. It uses the mind to mind itself. It supplies a simple, natural method to first relax the body and then to relax the mind. It needs to be in that order because if the body is not relaxed, it is like an attention-demanding child. It does not permit the mind to relax. Tight belt, uncomfortable chair, shoes pinch, give me this, give me that. So the first you relax the body, then the mind. It is not easy to relax the body or the mind in the middle of the day. You're going to learn to do this first at the easiest time of day when you first wake up. It will then be an easy matter to use your skill to recreate the relaxed experience anytime you wish. Why will you wish it? Because you will enjoy the feeling. You will find out that your body responds. You feel healthier. Your levels of energy improve, and you function better as a manager. This will be just a smaller part of bigger and better advantages to come, like avoiding burnout, like becoming a genius. How to meditate. I'm now going to give you the initial steps to get in control of the alpha level. This is where you must start your training. From this page on, you are instructed to carry out even before you do the procedures which have already read about in the previous chapters and those which will come later. When you awake in the morning, go to the bathroom. If you have to, then go back into bed. Close your eyes and roll them slightly upward, about 20 degrees. Now count backwards slowly from 100 to 1. Do not count out loud. Count mentally to yourself. Count slowly, waiting about 1 second between numbers. Feel yourself going deeper and deeper within. When you reach the count of 1, you would be ready to reprogram yourself for specific benefits and to release your imagination for problem solving. But this must wait until you practice more. Instead, enjoy the blissful, serene state for a few minutes, then use the coming out procedure. The Silva method for coming out is to say mentally, I am going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach the count of 5, I will open my eyes, feeling wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3. When I open my eyes at the count of 5, I feel wide awake, in perfect health, better than before. 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, better than before, and this is so. This is all there is to it. But there are ways to go wrong and ways to get better results. One way to go wrong is to attempt meditation if you are intoxicated, emotionally involved, or just hyperactive. Alpha is a longer way off when you are in a high beta state, such as this. Alpha is close by when you first awaken. When you wake up and go to the bathroom, set your alarm clock for 10 to 15 minutes in case you fall asleep. You will not have to do this after practicing and getting alpha more under control. Always use the same method of going in and coming out. After 10 days, count only from 50 to 1. After 10 more, count only 25 to 1. And after 10 more days, 10 to 1 will bring you to your alpha level. Coming out remains 1 to 5. Open your eyes at the count of 5. No sooner, no later. The discipline is essential to controlling your mind. When you have completed 40 days of practice, the last 10 counting 10 to 1, you are ready to shorten the procedure to 5 to 1 and to begin using the alpha level for a purpose, any purpose you desire. So you will have a 5-to-1 method to enter and a 1-to-5 method to come out of your meditating. Once you become a passive meditator in the way described, you are able to become a dynamic meditator. That is the beginning of managerial benefits. Changes during meditation. Nothing happened. It was nice, but I did not feel anything different. I don't think I was meditating. These are common reactions to the first experiences of meditation. You relax. You enjoy the peace. You end your relaxation. You are back where you started. This is not exactly so. Changes have occurred during your meditation that are measurable. We have already discussed the changes in your brainwave pattern, the slowing of brain pulsations, tests made on meditators at the Thorndike Memorial Laboratory, a part of the Harvard Medical Unit at Boston City Hospital, and also at the University of California at Irvine, showed that even novices slowed both their oxygen consumption and their carbon dioxide elimination considerably. The respiratory rate and the volume of air breathed declined. Blood pressure was lowered. Blood lactate concentration dropped. This being a measurement of anaerobic metabolism, that is, metabolism in the absence of free oxygen. You do not monitor those physiological factors when you close your eyes and meditate. You are more inclined to look for changes in your awareness, since you can still hear sounds, since you are still aware of where you are and what you're doing, since you can still think about this or that, you believe nothing happened. The meditative level is a natural state. You go into it daily when you daydream or relax. There is nothing weird about it. No sirens go off when you reach it. There is no formal announcement. What you are doing is getting in control of it. Once you have meditation under control, you can use it for a purpose. It may seem childish to practice something so simple for 40 days, but each experience acts as a reference point for the next. That is why the procedure must be the same. Same place, same time, methodology. Introducing variables slows progress. As you practice, physiological benefits are occurring. Every cell of your body, every vital organ, all the tissues and muscles are celebrating your relaxation. They delight in it. They are able to use the hiatus from stress to restore themselves. Being awake is stressful for the average person. It means being open to all the stressful thoughts of the workaday world, of things to be done, of human events to be dealt with. When a large insurance company in Honolulu had much of its staff take the Silva method training course, within 2 days, a 60-year-old man with crippling arthritis in his hands demonstrated to the class that he had regained full mobility in his fingers. In another class, a woman who warned the lecturer that she had colitis and might have to interrupt the meditations to go to the bathroom reported that the colitis had disappeared. Headaches end. Lower back pain is relieved. Nerves become steady. Nothing happened? No bells did not ring? A voice did not say, "Welcome to the state of meditation"? But you may have added to the length of your life. Biofeedback and meditation training. SP manager of a branch bank was convinced that his meditation was going nowhere. He was plagued with the thought that others might be doing it, but somehow it was escaping him. It was interfering with his confidence. It was suggested that he test himself on a small device called galvanic skin reactor, a standard biofeedback device. SP sat down at a table, placed 2 of his fingers on the padded terminals, and turned it on. There was a beeping sound that could be adjusted from fast to slow. He adjusted it to the critical point between the 2 extremes. The moment SP closed his eyes and turned them slightly upward, there was an audible slowing down. This deceleration of the beeping sound continued during the countdown until it was definitely at a slower rate. When SP counted himself back up, the beeping sound accelerated back to its original faster rate. SP was all smiles. He had received concrete proof that he was doing it. The GSR measured the skin resistance changes that are brought about by differing levels of adrenaline in the blood. An excited person has less skin resistance due to a high level of adrenaline. A relaxed person has high skin resistance due to a lower level of adrenaline. The instrument detecting low skin resistance beeps at a fast rate. When the instrument detects high resistance, the beeps slow down. This is, of course, the principle of the polygraph or lie detector. Some disciplines and therapies use biofeedback devices as their main tool for learning. Patients learn how to lower their blood pressure, improve the heart rhythm, get rid of headaches, and end many troublesome psychosomatic health problems with biofeedback devices. Although Silva method graduates do not require biofeedback equipment, many take advantage of its availability to take them beyond the basic training to deeper levels of mind and to reinforce their programming. Available equipment goes beyond the simple device just described, which we call Trainer 1, to more sophisticated trainers such as the Silva Educator. This device holds the first United States patent that makes use of the fact that human concentration turns on an educational program. This instrument turns on a motivational tape or your own company's discourse only when you reach your alpha level, your most receptive state for concentration and learning. Biofeedback equipment is always helpful but not necessary. It is not necessary to you at this point in your initial experiences with the alpha level. What is necessary is that you accept your meditation as being meditation. If you are worried about whether you are relaxing, you indeed have something to worry about. Your worrying about relaxation is the ideal methodology to use to prevent relaxation. Worry is stress, the opposite of relaxation. The best advice anyone can give you on this point is to accept that you are meditating, regardless of its depth. Be comfortable about being comfortable. Be relaxed about your relaxation. If you get uptight about relaxation, you are getting in your own way. Do it, enjoy it, and know that it gets better and better. Tips for deepening meditation. Based on the experience of others and the results of decades of research, here are some ideas for improving your initial experiences with meditation and accelerating your progress. 1. Eyes turned slightly upwards is an easy step to forget, but it is important for reasons that we do not yet understand. Turning the eyes slightly upward at about 20 degrees above the horizontal plane of sight triggers alpha. 2. Take a moment now to refresh your memory of the feeling of letting go. Make a fist, tighten it more, then let it go. The instant of letting go is the feeling of physical relaxation. Do it again with an ankle. Do it with your jaw. It feels so good to let go. Before closing your eyes, tire them by staring at a spot on the ceiling about 45 degrees above your normal plane of seeing. Try to keep from blinking. Do not turn your head up. Turn your eyes up without lifting your head. When you feel you must blink, and certainly after no more than a half minute of staring, close your eyes and continue with your meditation in the usual way. 4. Before ending your meditation with the 1 to 5 count up, tell yourself mentally, each time I relax, this is the way I go deeper and faster. From passive to dynamic meditation. If you have too much to remember when you meditate, you could be making it more difficult to go from beta to alpha. You already have enough to do, and you need to experience this procedure daily for 40 days in order for it to become shorter and more automatic. Each repetition is a reference point for the next time. The more reference points you have, the greater the faculty and ease of meditating. It becomes familiar ground to you. In 40 days, when it is no longer strange for a busy person like you to take a few minutes of your valuable time to do nothing, you are ready to make the transition from passive meditation to dynamic meditation. At that time, picture objects familiar to you, preferably an object containing color. You might select an orange or a lemon. You might picture a fresh, crisp head of lettuce or a fresh, crisp $100 bill. Whatever object you decide on, hold it in your mind's eye for a few seconds. If it disappears, welcome to the club. We are all in the habit of jumping from one thing to another. Remember that drunken monkey? So do not get upset with yourself. Permit new thoughts to intrude like actors on a stage, but since you are the playwright, let their roles take them off stage when they have had their say and bring back the original picture. Once this is working to your satisfaction, move to more complex images that involve not only color, but some movement. Some suggestions might be white clouds drifting across a beautiful blue sky, drops of morning dew on a sunlit rose, reflecting all the colors of the rainbow like diamonds, a babbling brook. You are to visualize away from your body. Imagine the picture or scene to be out there. If you visualize the picture or scene to be in the area of the eyes or eyelids, you are using biological senses, the eyes. Visualizing away from your body keeps you at alpha. Seeing with the eyes brings you back to beta. Normal vision is at beta. visualizing is at alpha. How to increase your visualizing skill. Each time you position yourself comfortably in bed, close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, and count backward from 5 to 1. Spend a few minutes visualizing before bringing yourself up 1 to 5. Visualization and imagination are two faculties that contribute to clairvoyance. You may feel that holding simple pictures in your mind is a waste of time. It smacks of daydreaming. Why picture this or that? This erroneous universal concept about visualization and imagination is the reason more people are not clairvoyant. The few minutes you spend visualizing each morning is activating idle brain neurons and putting them into harness to work for you. The right brain neurons, it is so important for the business executive to do this that I am asking you to practice during the day as well as when you awaken. During the day while reading, stop at a word that you can relate to a past experience and make a mental picture. For instance, if you read the word house, stop and remember a house that you have seen and visualize it. Bring back a memory you have of that house. Do the same when you hear people talk. If the name of something is mentioned that you have seen in the past and you can convert it to a mental image, do so. Next, extend these mental images into scenes like mental movies. One important mental image. Dynamic meditation is creative. It programs you, and it programs other people. It programs events. The pictures you put on your mental screen are shadows of things to come. Stop for a moment. Haven't you been doing this right along, visualizing? Everybody does, business managers included. What do you visualize? You picture your problems, you worry about your status, your quotas, your deadlines, your obstacles, your problems. What are you really doing to those problems as you sit quietly picturing them with your visualization? You're reinforcing them. With the Silva method, you no longer think in terms of problems, you think in terms of solutions. What a turnaround takes place. Since you are involved in the picture, you need to begin visualizing yourself in practice sessions. A woman looks in a mirror when she fixes her hair, but does not really pay attention to the whole visual image. Similarly, a man looks in a mirror when he shaves and combs his hair, but takes his visual image for granted. As a result, you are likely to find it easier to picture an orange than to picture yourself. Here's how to correct this. Look in the mirror, memorize your face, close your eyes, turn them slightly upward, and put yourself on your mental screen. Open your eyes and see how well you did. Close them again and repeat the image. Do this several times until you are satisfied that you are able to see yourself. Realistic imagery. Some people are able to picture in great detail and in color naturally. This is an excellent start toward becoming clairvoyant, but it is not essential. As you begin to visualize daily, you get better and better. What is essential is having the concept of something. Then the picture follows naturally. Close your eyes now, turn them slightly upward, and picture a whole green watermelon being cut in half so that you can see inside. What did you see beside the green of the outside? You probably saw the red meat, the black seeds, perhaps the white inside rind. But I did not ask you to see that. You saw it automatically because of your memory of the entire concept of watermelon. If you had never seen a watermelon before, you would be in trouble with that picture. But because you have seen a watermelon, the details of the picture popped right into your mind. Try not to picture this. Do not visualize a white polar bear in a pink bikini. Did I hear you laugh? You had no way of keeping the concept from being pictured by your mind. Now picture this, a burkle. No picture? Why? Because there is no such thing, and therefore you had no concept to picture. Do not become concerned that you are not visualizing in widescreen Technicolor, just as you are relaxed about relaxing. Be relaxed about visualizing. Accept the degree to which you are able to visualize. The images you are making are creative, and they are going to get better and better. You and creative imagery. How do you picture yourself in your meditation? Should you picture yourself on your mental screen fixing your hair? In these days of shortage, why waste energy? See yourself as you wish to be. These are just practice sessions, but the energy you are putting out with your alpha visualizing is real, creative energy. Is there some aspect of yourself that you would like to improve? Select a scene in which you are exhibiting that improvement. One manager knew he was being too abrupt with his people. Although he knew this, he could not change. That was the way he was. He decided to use in his meditations a picture of himself smiling, nodding his head and listening patiently. Within a week, he was doing exactly that and was getting warm consideration back from his formerly indifferent employees. If there is no particular trait you want to work on, use a goal that you would like to reach. Hold a picture of yourself with a goal attained. A manager on the night shift wanted to work days instead. He used a picture of himself on the job in daylight hours with the sun streaming through the windows. It took 3 weeks and the picture was realized. How? As we continue, you will understand more about the creative energy and how it transcends space and reaches minds wherever it must be in order to solve the problems or reach the goal. If you have no particular trait to work on and no specific goal to attain at this time, use a picture of yourself in some symbolic setting that signifies success for you. Seated behind a huge desk indicating an important position, living in a larger home, seated on the platform at a testimonial dinner for you, conferring with VIPs. Be careful of the picture you select. You had better want it. Each alpha visualizing session in your meditation brings that picture closer to reality. Are you ready to become a visionary? And that is a very good beginning step to understanding the Silva method, specifically in relation to executives, but this can be applied to anyone. As you can see, it is somewhat simple, but very complex. I challenge you to sit and count backwards from 100 to 1, if you've never done it, and get all the way to 1. It's so easy to start forgetting stuff and get distracted. It took me a long time, longer than 40 days, to get to do that. And if you can do it, it's very powerful. Get to the point where you can visualize the numbers, add colors to them, get control of your mind through this process. And if you can do it in a relaxed state, the alpha is important. Some people will argue that you need to go less than alpha, but Silva really made a good argument why alpha is the key. Because that state is when you have some level of control. In those other states, you may fall asleep. Alpha really keeps you in a very powerful state that you can use to visualize and to manifest whatever it is that you want. If you are in business and you're an executive, listening to your inner voice is so powerful. It has been in my business, and I can totally see why this method would be powerful for any executive. You can get so locked into your reports, into your analysis, and when you do that, you end up only seeing the trees and not the forest. So if you can back away and awaken your intuitive mindset, it will take you to the next level. I guarantee it. And I would definitely read this book for enhanced memory and concentration, for handling difficult people, for managing time and working with subordinates. All of these things work. This is a good starting point in understanding the Silva method by itself and the Silva method as it applies to executives. Hopefully that helps. And we will definitely be exploring so much more of Robert Stone. Check out the book, The Silva Mind Control Method for Business Managers. I will provide a link in the description. And I'm hoping all of you are having wonderful days. I am imagining you happy, healthy, successful, exuberant, overcoming whatever problems that you have. Hopefully this can get you to that place. In any case, all episodes of The Reality Revolution can be found at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to The Reality Revolution.